Hello friends, in this video we are going to print this pattern. As usual, first of all we will find out the relationship between the number of rows, columns and the value of the elements printed in each column. So first of all we will count the number of blank spaces in each row. In row number 0, how many blank spaces are there? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blank spaces in total in row number 0. In the next row, that is in row number 1, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 blank spaces, right? So in row number 0, we have 8 blank spaces. In the row number 1, we have 6 blank spaces. Similarly, in row number 2, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 blank spaces. Let's write that as well. So 4 blank spaces. Similarly, in row number 3, we have 2 blank spaces, and in the last row, that is row number 4, we will have no blank space at all. So 0 blank space, right? So here the total number of rows is equal to 5. Now if we denote the row number by I, then in ith row how many blank spaces do we have? Number of blank spaces in ith row, blank space in ith row. So can you find the relation between, if we denote the total number of rows by n, so can you find the relation between ni and the number of blank spaces? So the number of blank spaces in ith row will be 2 into n minus I minus 1. So in row number 0, how many blank spaces we have? We have 2 into total number of rows, that is n is 5. So 5 minus I, that is here for the row number 0, I is 0. So 5 minus 0 minus 1, right? So we have 5 minus 0 minus 1. So 2 into 4 is 8. Similarly, in row number 1, we have 2 into 5 minus 1 minus 1, right? This number of blank spaces, that is 2 into 3 equal to 6. Similarly, in row number 2, we have 2 into 5 minus 2 minus 1. Five minus 2 minus 1. Here we have 2 into 5 minus 3 minus 1. And here we have 2 into 5 minus 4 minus 1. So this is the formula for determining the number of blank spaces in every row. So for ith row, we will have 2 into n minus I minus 1 number of blank spaces. So we have found out the number of blank spaces. Now what is the next thing? We have to determine how many columns are there, how many printable columns are there in each row. So for row number 0, we have 1 printable column. For row number 1, we have 3 printable columns. For row number 2, we have 5 printable columns, and so on. So number of columns in ith row. So what will be the formula for this? This will be 2 into I plus 1, right? 2 into I plus 1. So for the row number 0, we have 2 into 0 plus 1, that is 1 column. For row number 1, we have 2 into 1 plus 1, that is 3 columns. For row number 2, we have 2 into 2 plus 1, that is 5 columns, and it goes on like this. So this is enough for us to print this pattern. So let's get started with our code. Let's flip to slider ID. Now we will start writing our code. So first of all, what we have to do, we have to ask from the user for the number of rows. So let's take a variable rows, and here we will store the number of rows input by the user. So inside the input function, we'll give the user the message how many rows, right? So let's copy the entire thing here. Let's copy the entire thing from here because it will help us write our code. So let's paste it right at the top, and we'll follow this formula to write our code. So let's comment this entire thing first by pressing Ctrl+1, and now we will start with the nested loop. So for I in range rows, so this outer loop will take care of iterating through the rows. That is, using this loop we will move from one row to another row, right? Now inside the outer loop, first what we have to print? First we have to print the blank spaces, right? Because blank spaces come before the elements. So first we have to print the blank spaces. So the first inner loop will take care of printing the blank spaces. So let the iterator variable be j, and what is the number of blank spaces in ith row? The number of blank spaces in ith row is 2 into n minus I minus 1. So for j in range, we will say 2 into n minus I minus 1, and we will print blank space, right? And obviously we have to replace the default value of the end parameter by an empty string, so that we do not get a new line printed after printing every blank space. We don't want to print the blank spaces in different lines. We want to print all the blank spaces in the same line. So that's why we have to replace the default value of the end parameter by an empty string. So we are done with printing the blank spaces. Now what we have to print? Now we have to print the columns, right? So for the printing the columns, we will need another inner loop, and let the iterator variable be k, and what is the number of elements or number of columns in ith row? 2 into I plus 1, right? So we will use range 2 into I plus 1, right? And inside this we will print k, and in this case what will be the value of the end parameter? We want to print a blank space after printing each element, right? So the value of the end parameter will be a blank space here. And in the above case also, instead of printing a blank space like this, you can also remove this thing, and you can just print you can just replace the default value of the end parameter with a blank space. That will also do the same thing for you, right? And here we have to make a small change. We have to given the number of rows the name rows. So instead of n, we have to mention rows here, right? So this is one thing. Now still our code is not complete. We are left with one more thing. This inner loop will print blank space, and this inner loop will print the elements in the row. So these two inner loops will take care of executing a complete row. But after executing a complete row, to move to the next row, we have to print a new line, right? To move from one row to another row, we have to print a new line. So for that, we have to use a print function here as well. And inside the print function, if we don't specify anything, by default, as I just mentioned, the value, if we just hover over the print function, you can see by default the value of the end parameter is /n, which represents a new line. So if you don't mention anything inside the print function, it will print a new line for you, right? So let's run this code and let's see whether this code is sufficient to print this pattern or not. Let's run this code and let's enter 5. So we will have 5 rows. Let's press enter and you can see the pattern is printed fine, but in each row the printing starts from 0. So instead of starting from 1, it is starting from 0, and that's quite expected because the range function gives you all the consecutive integers from 0 to the number that you specify inside the range function. So the iteration, obviously the first value of the iterator variable is always 0. So the iteration always starts from the number 0. So what we have to do here, instead of printing k, we have to print k plus 1. Then instead of printing 0, it will print 1. Instead of printing 1, it will print 2. Instead of printing 2, it will print 3, and it will go like that. So let's rerun our code and again enter 5 and we get the expected output this time. Fine. Now let's look at the line by line execution of the entire code. So let's press Ctrl plus F5. We are in the first line. Let's press Ctrl plus F10. It prompts us to enter the number of row. So for saving our time, let's enter the number 3. So this time we'll have 3 rows. Press enter. It moves to the new line, and in the variable excluder you can see variable rows has been created with the value 3. So we enter in the outer loop by pressing Ctrl plus F10. We have entered the outer loop and you can see the iterator variable I is currently containing the value 0. So as I was just mentioning, as the range function gives you a sequence from 0 to n minus 1, where n is the number that you specify in the range function, so iteration always starts from 0. So here we have given range rows and the current value of rows is 3. So range 3 basically gives you a sequence which will contain 0, 1 and 2. So obviously the first value of the iterator variable I is 0, right? So we have entered inside the outer loop. Now if we again press Ctrl plus F10, it enters in the first inner loop and you can see a new variable j getting created with the value 0. Now if we again press Ctrl plus F10, a blank space has been printed. Fine. So tell me one thing, what is the value of this entire quantity? Currently rows is equal, the value of rows is equal to 3. The value of I is equal to 0. So it gives us 3 minus 0 minus 1, that is it gives us 2, and when we multiply it by 2 it gives us 4. So it basically gives us range 4, right? So as it gives us range 4, so we will have 4 iterations for this inner loop, right? And we have already completed the first iteration and we have printed a blank space in the console. Again we will enter the second iteration of the inner loop and it will again print a blank space. Again we enter the third iteration, again prints a blank space. We enter the fourth iteration and it will again print a blank space. So after all the blank spaces are printed for row number 0, that is for I equal to 0, we will come out of the first inner loop. So from line number 14, it will directly go to line number 16, right? Now in line number 16, we have another inner loop that will take care of printing the elements. So currently the value of I is equal to 0. So it will give us range 1. Range 1 has only one element in the sequence, that is 0. So this inner loop will have only one iteration. So let's enter in the second inner loop, and we entered in the inner loop and we printed 1. You can see first this 4 blank spaces has been printed, and now the element 1 has been printed. So as this inner loop will have only one iteration and we have already completed that iteration, it will no longer enter inside this inner loop. So from line number 16, it will directly come to line number 18. So let's move to line number 18, and it has moved to line number 18. Here it will print a new line, right? So if we press Ctrl plus F10, the cursor has moved to the next line. Now we will enter the second iteration of the outer loop. We press Ctrl plus F10, and you can see the value of I has changed from 0 to 1, which means we are at row number 1 and we have entered the second iteration of the outer loop. Now again, for I equal to 1, what will be this value? Rows is equal to 3, I is equal to 1. So it will give us 2 into 1, that is 2. For I equal to 1, this inner loop will have 2 iterations. So it will print 2 blank spaces, right? Let's execute this inner loop. So it prints 1 blank space, and in the second iteration it will print another blank space. Now we have exhausted all the iterations of the first inner loop. So from line number 14, it will come to line number 16. Now it will enter the second inner loop. Now value of I is equal to 1. So 2 into 1 plus 1 makes it 3. So this inner loop will have 3 iterations. So let's enter the first iteration of the second inner loop. Yes, we have entered the first iteration, and there we print 1 and a blank space along with that. So now we print 2 and then we print 3. So the execution of the row number 1 is completed as well. Now we will again go to the print statement in line number 18, and it will again print a new line, and you can see the cursor has moved to a new line. Fine. Now we are entering the third iteration of the outer loop. So the value of I changes from 1 to 2. Fine. Again, for value of I equal to 2, it will be 3 minus 2 minus 1. So it will be range 0. So it will print no blank space at all. So from line number 14, it will directly come to line number 16. And it comes to line number 16. And line number 16, for I equal to 2, it will have total 5 iterations, right? 2 into 2 plus 1, that is 5. So we will complete all the 5 iterations. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we print 5. So we completed row number 2 as well. So it will again go to line number 18, print a new line, and it goes to line number 13. As we have exhausted all the iterations of the outer loop, that's where our code execution will end, which you can see from this return statement. Now if we again press Ctrl plus F10, it will end the debugging session, right? So that's how we can print this pattern with the help of nested loops. If you run the cell again, you can check that for any number of rows. If we enter a row 7, so it will give us the output accordingly, and that's how it goes. So that's it for this video, friends. If you have liked this video, please subscribe to my channel and please hit the bell icon so that you get notified when I'll upload more Python and data science related videos. And please don't forget to like and share my video so that it reaches a larger audience and they also get benefited from it. Thanks a lot for watching.